Hi, welcome in. This is Brent Pasqua from RPA Wealth Management. And today we're going to talk about business valuations and really the importance of business valuations. Every business owner really needs to know what their business is worth. Once you learn what your business is worth, you can really start to establish where you want to take the business and potentially how long it's going to take you to get to that place. Evaluation becomes even more critical as you get closer to your exit strategy. But along the path, no matter what stage you're really at, it is critical that you have a valuation and know what your business is worth. What's interesting is that really only a small percentage of business owners truly know what their business is worth. Currently, right now, only 2% of small business owners know their business valuation. And when most people don't know their value, it's very hard to gauge not only where you're going to take the business, but how long it's going to take you to get there. It's also very difficult to grow your business. You truly don't know what its true value is. 98% of all companies are really managing their company blind. When you start to learn what the business is worth, you can start to strategically plan what really makes your business grow, really what makes in the trigger points in your industry where you can start to establish how I am able to bring the value of my business up over time. And by doing this earlier on, you can start to put those key factors in place that really starts to teach you where and how you make your business actually start to grow. So there's also some very critical factors. It really establishes where you are today and where you want to take the business. And if you start to think about, the value that you have today, once you start to establish where it is, you can start to project out further how long it's going to take you to get to that point where you may need it to be to a certain value by the time that you go to exit your business. And if you're doing personal financial planning as advisors, a lot of times we're working with these business owners or working with you to build a financial plan to eventually be able to sell this, hopefully this really nice business that you've built up. But when we're doing financial planning, I mean, really, what do you put in as the value of the business in your plan? If you don't know what it's worth, then it's all just an assumption. And the other factor is you have to figure out where and how you're going to sell that business. Is it going to be to a third party? Is it going to be to internal transfer? Is it to be to get some key employees? Those are all important factors as you start to look at growing your business, knowing what it's worth, and then how you're going to be able to transfer it to those parties. We also think it's important that you are able to test those objectives. How much are you going to need from your business? Is it going to be 1 million when you retire? Is it going to be $2 million? Is it going to be $3 million? When you start to figure out then what it's worth today, and then potentially, at the time of retirement or at your time of your exit plan, you can start to then figure out how much you're going to need from the business, and then really what you're going to net out from the business, and start to test those objectives to see, does this really actually get you where you need to do, or should you be actually doing some other things in place along the way to help guide you along to get it where it needs to be. And another essential factor that most people don't consider is, what is the true value of your business after you pay taxes, after you pay capital gains or any gains tax, after you pay fees to the broker? What are you really going to net out from this? And based on what you're potentially going to net from the business, is that what you were expecting? Now, if you're 2, 3, 4, 5 years away from retiring, sometimes there's less things that you can do to grow the valuation rather quickly. Although, the longer your trajectory is to retiring, there's probably more that you can do to start to build the business value up. But over time, as things get a little bit closer, it becomes imperative to, number one, know the value, but also really start to reach those end times of that your work expectancy to really start to then build the value up as quickly as possible and then be able to transition it out. And it's also a critical litmus test. You can start to target buyers and ways to make the business more attractive to them. You can essentially look at what we call key drivers in the business and test those to say, okay, for example, how much percentage is any individual customer to the value of your business, and what ways can I improve to drive the business value up in a short amount of time or large time? Is it diversifying customers? Is it putting key employees in place? Is it locking up key employees? What are some of those ways that I can really properly protect the business and also make it grow? And one area that I think has become so important to so many business owners when we have these conversations is if something happens to you as the business owner, as your spouse or your kids, are they going to be able to get into the business to operate it and do what you do? And can you be replaced? And if the answer to that is no, then evaluation is critical to have proper business insurance in place, buy sells, uh, continuity plans, and documents in place to do in case something were to happen. When I think about my business, could my spouse get into my passwords, my computers? Could she access everything? And that's the same challenge that many business owners have. And this is sort of the start of figuring all of that out. Incentive plans become critical to business valuations because you can start to identify who your key employees are of the business. Are they properly compensated? Would they leave if they found out you were planning to exit the business? Do having those key employees bring up the value of your business? Answer is most likely. So bringing in and building in incentive plans to keeping key employees for long after you potentially plan to sell the business brings the value of the business up to people potentially looking at purchasing your business. And one thing I've always noticed for many years is that buyers of businesses are very good at buying businesses, and sellers of businesses usually don't come with the same experience that buyers do. And putting these factors like incentive plans in place will begin to put these key items in place that business buyers are looking for to really driving the business value up. And if you don't have them, then a buyer is going to find ways to devalue the business in your valuation if you don't have key employees built up, because they know they can go to a competitor. They know it provides substantial risk to the value of the business if these people leave. And it takes time to build incentive plans. I mean, that's not something that really just comes overnight. It's something that takes time to build on with your employees. And then also for things that you need to know, there's different ways to get your business value. You don't truly need a full valuation always. You can start with an opinion of value. You can get a partial valuation where you're starting to look at a not in as much in-depth way, all the way up to being a certified valuation. And depending on how far you are along in the process, really starts to give you those factors on, should I get a full valuation? Should I get a lesser? Do I need to spend as much money on a full valuation? But if you're starting to looking at selling your business, if you're starting to look at selling some of your business to key employees, you start to think about how important is it for me to have this value? And also, over time, how often do you continue to get your valuation updated? It's not always expensive. And that's a misconception I think a lot of people have is it's either complicated, it's time consuming, or it costs too much. But it really doesn't. And we look at from a benefit from your business, evaluation is just a very small fee that can provide you a lot of benefit long term. Our business is usually our most valuable assets. And really, our business is thought of And you can think of it like you're a house or your house. Your house builds equity. And the only way to extract the value of that equity in your house is really to sell your house. And when you have all of this equity built up in your house, the only way that you get it out is from a buyer. And if you've built your business value up and you're thinking about how do I extract this, pretty decent value from this business, you have to sell it to somebody. That somebody is either going to be somebody within your company, your partners, a third party transfer. There's multiple ways to sell the business. But eventually, to get the value out of your business, you're going to have to sell it. And it is our goal to really sell the business for as much as possible. How do we drive the business value up? Well, we first have to know what the business is worth. Once we get a good idea of what the business is worth, we can start to establish key factors that trigger to bring the value of the business up. And then we can start to really clean things up to secure the value. If something happens to you, the value is secured. If something happens to a key employee, the value is secured. You want to start putting all of these documents in place. So it's a process. But all of that process starts with evaluation. And all of that process is worth it because it's going to establish and bring the value of your business up over time. We truly, really love helping our clients. We specialize in working with business owner clients. There's no better reward than working with our clients and finding out that they've never felt more comfortable, more secure, more stable in their business than once they started going through this process. But it truly starts with figuring out what your business is worth. If you'd like more information, please reach out to us on our website at rpawealth.com. You can see the link below for information on getting a business valuation and finding out more about what your business is worth. Or you can call us at 909-296-7977 and listen to our podcast, The Retirement Plan Playbook. So thank you for watching this. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us.